Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general overview with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. Don't worry, I'm not naked. I just have tan coloured trousers on. It's really funny. I have a running joke with quite a few of you, as you know by now. When I wear certain coloured trousers, people are like, is he naked? No. It's not that kind of channel. You will never get that from me. With that said, if you would like to book a clothed tarot session with me, you can do so on the website address below. And before we start, as always, first of all, I'm going to remove this. So this is a piece of citrine crystal. I love citrine. It's actually one of my favorites. One of the beauties of this specific stone, one of the properties of citrine, is it connects you to who you truly are. It gives you, and it's, you know, that's not to say that you're disconnected from yourself, but it gives you the ability and the strength to stand your ground, to hold your boundaries in some way, shape or form. It's also a stone of prosperity and various other properties. And as we go through the weeks, I'm going to start talking about crystals and a bit more, because I love them, always have. Over the course of my life, I think I've probably given away around 1,000 of you know, various different types of crystals, and I find that it tends to be that the right person will show up, and I tend to have the right stone that they need just at that moment in their life, and I very rarely get them back. And one of the things that I've always believed about crystals in general is they will stay with you as long as you need them, and then they will go on to wherever or whoever needs them more after that. So with that said, I'll put that in my pocket for now. I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So let's have a look, see what the week ahead has in store for us. Look, we're moving towards the middle of June already. Can you believe how quickly this year has gone? And it's funny, even though the year has gone quickly, I feel like there's been so much packed into it already, right? So let's have a look at the destiny card for the week ahead. So what is the overarching or overriding theme or energy that is coming through this week? And this week we get the moon card, right? So interesting, in some way, shape or form, we're all harking back to the past. On a macrocosmic level, this can see us really, well, actually, it could see a lot of the public fears coming to light, right? You could see a lot of fear and hysteria this week. And I'm not saying, you know, I don't want to be a fearmongerer, but the moon card can sometimes bring those things to a fore. It can see people voicing what their fears are. It can see people giving a voice to what people are generally afraid of, or what people instinctually feel like withdrawing from, right? The moon card is also about our past. It's about our past lives. So on the wider world stage, this could see historical evidence come into light. This could see, you know, old issues coming back to the fore to be revisited. I mean, we can see this shaping up in the world already, and it will be really interesting to see what does come up over the course of the next few weeks for sure. On a microcosmic level, this is all of us delving into our own past. This is about us having an instinct and an intuition and an insight into what it is that we've been dealing with, and ultimately how it's been holding us back. This week we're all going to have the, you know, the destiny card being the moon card means we've got a chance to have a glimpse at what has been holding us back and where that fear may well be coming from within us or within our personal past. So let's have a look at the direction. How does this shape up? What is it likely to pertain to? What is the context? The other thing with the moon card as well, the moon is a deeply cyclic being. Just like human beings, we wax, we wane, you know, we shed skin, we shed hair, our blood moves around. You know, there are peaks where we are, you know, happier, and there are peaks where we are lower. We are, as human beings, are deeply tied to the rhythms of the moon, right? Hair cycle, you know, your hair grows closer, you bleed more at the time of a full moon. At the time of a new moon is where you tend to be a bit more reflective, and that's even reflective reflected in the natural world by the seasons of sowing, planting and reaping harvest of food, vegetables, flowers, all that sort of stuff. So the earth and the moon have a deep connection, just like human beings. You know, the moon is cyclic, it goes dark and it also goes to full bright, and human beings are exactly that same spectrum as well. So you could be seeing a lot of this. You might be feeling deeply attuned to your surroundings this week as well. You know, we might be feeling that things are happening. We might be really tapped in or tuned in to how the consciousness of the masses feel this week. So if you find yourself feeling particularly angry or stressed or emotional, check the environment that you happen to be in and who's around you and what is going on there. Your vibes and your instincts will not lie to you this week. Pay attention. So the direction, we've got the Page of Cups, right? So this is interesting. Pisceans are going to be very, very reflective and also very divulgent this week. What do I mean by that? I don't even think it's a word. What I mean is pay attention to those of you that have Pisces energy, to those of you that interact with or are connected to people that are Pisces in nature. And the reason I say that is because the Page of Cups has a very Piscean energy. So it looks like this week the Pisces people may very well be speaking up. They may have a lot to say. Now what's interesting is earlier I talked about the, you know, the mass consciousness and what's going on there. Pisces represents the all, right? It's the universe. It's the blending of us into the group. Aquarius would be the group itself. Pisces is, you know, the mass consciousness. It's the mass subconscious as well. So this ties us deeply into that. So people of a Pisces nature or with heavy water in their chart will be very, very susceptible to this energy this week. So pay attention to any dreams or reveries that they might tell you about, things that they might want to share with you. What's really interesting as well is the Moon card and the Page of Cups. This is about children. So we may very well see big shifts in education, maybe educational welfare, emotional education, emotional intelligence when it comes to children, when it comes to schooling. All of that sort of stuff could take on a very, very big part of the spotlight this week. I mean, we can see little bits of this coming through, but it looks like it's set to take on a much broader scale, and it's going to be something that's pulled into the light, so to speak. So the Page of Cups, aside from all of that on a personal level, right, this is talking about our creativity, but it's also talking about observation of emotional energy and intelligence. This is going to be a week where all of us are going to be in our feelings, where all of us are going to be paying deep attention to how we feel, who is around when we feel what we feel, and ultimately we're going to be asking ourselves what that means for us. There's going to be a lot of not necessarily lines drawn, because Pisces doesn't do lines, right? It just melds and blurs into everything else. Why do I say Pisces? The Moon card in tarot is ruled by Pisces. The Page of Cups has a very heavy Piscean energy, right? So when I look at that, you know, together, like I said, I've talked about the stuff on a macrocosmic level. On a microcosmic level, this is us paying attention to our feelings. It could be that a lot of us are combing through our personal past and really looking deeply into our personal childhood this month. What happened to me as I grew? How did those experiences shape me? What does that mean for me today? And ultimately, how do I respond to the world and events and experiences in relation to the gaze or the lens of the past that I look through? Right? When you have a good understanding of that, you can then start to look at the people around you that you've surrounded yourself with, that you choose to surround yourself with or associate with, and ask yourself, what role are they fulfilling in my life that comes from some past aspect of myself or of my experience? There's the ting, right? So I know I'm touching on something because the goosebumps came straight after, right? So it's like, how have I filled my life with people that mirror the experiences that I had while I was growing up? And the good thing about that is you can spot both the positive and negative trends in those people and the roles that they are fulfilling within your life. This is a deeply introspective week where we have a chance to really observe and really examine the life that we have created for ourselves based on the emotional tides within us. It's a very deep week. It's a very, very deep week, I have to say. So let's have a look and see what the insight card is. What is the extra or background information that we might not usually be privy to? And this week we get the Knight of Wands, right? Yes, finally, we get something to shake us out of this watery energy. And we get the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is about passion, fire, it's about desire, but it's also a card of action. It's a card of doing something. It's a card of saying to yourself, what is it that I want now? Right, I understand all of this stuff that's happening on an internal level. I understand all of the interpersonal stuff, the psychotherapy aspect of it, the psychoanalysis of it through the guise of my feelings, and also even a little bit of the spirituality. But how does that pertain to the real world, and how can I put it into action? And ultimately, what is it that I am prepared to do now in order to push past how I feel so that I can create a different experience to the one that I am currently having? This is a very profound week, people. This is not a week for you to rest on your laurels. You have to be looking deep within yourself this week and asking yourself those really big questions. On a macrocosmic level, how does this work in the world at large, right? Well, with the Knight of Wands as the insight, this is saying, yes, we're looking at the past. Yes, we're possibly looking at the educational system. And when I say the educational system, we're going to be talking about the impact that the educational system has on the emotional self of the young people that we are pushing through society, right? So then the Knight of Wands comes through as the insight to say, so where does free will come into this? Yes, we are, we create a framework and a society and a structure to push people through, but where does their choice come into it? Have we even stopped to think about that? We've got all of this stuff going on with various different aspects of these people fighting those people because of fees, because of what the young people are exposed to, what they're being taught, what they're not being taught. Has anybody actually stopped to ask them? Has anybody actually stopped to think that actually, we're talking about these sentient beings, children though they may be, children, young people, young adults, but has anybody actually stopped to consider what they want, what they decide for themselves? Because ultimately that's the beauty of being a human being, is that you have free will, right? So this is also asking, that's one aspect of it. Any past issues that are coming up that are, and taking place within environments this week, you will see a lot of people saying, right, okay, I get where we're at. I understand what's taking place. What's next? It's almost like the group or the mass psyche doesn't want to just unpack with, oh, isn't it so fucking terrible? It's like everyone's saying, yeah, that's great, I get where we're at, but what next? Where do we go from here? How do we change this experience? The Knight of Wands does not sit around. The Knight of Wands gets moving. He's like, right, I've got passion, I've got will, I've got spirit. What do I do with those? And ultimately he makes choices. As a Knight of Wands, sometimes he might do that a bit too fast and might not necessarily think everything through, but at least he's not wallowing in self-pity and all the rest of it, saying, well, and I'm not saying that we're all doing that. I'm just saying it's definitely a possibility. And then to bring it back to a personal level, the Knight of Wands is saying, what are you going to do with your energy? What are you going to do with your free will? What do you choose to do now that you are aware of this deeply personal work that is going on? Where are you going to draw your lines in the sand? Where are you going to set your boundaries? What are your boundaries? Have you made a choice? Have you stated them out to the world? This is about you paying attention to where you're truly at this moment in time, and how you can pursue a much better, broader and brighter vision of and for your life. So I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know how it shapes up for you, how it pertains to the wider world stage, what this means for you on a personal level. If there's any articles or anything you see in the news that relates to what's come up, please let me know. I absolutely love it when people do that, because it helps us with the validation and it helps us to see what we've been looking at, right? So with that said, have a great week and I will see you very soon for your weekly videos. Take care.